Hi guys, and here again from MacLeod Designs with another in the print and play series, and this time we are going to be finding out what has happened to the last fortress. We've heard nothing from them for a while and we need to find out what's happening, and we're going to do that by playing Lantern by Maggio. I hope I pronounced that correctly. That's the guy. I have the instructions here. The instructions that come with it is a single sheet, just one side. I have rewritten them to be a bit more explanative. That's what those are for. But we are going to be going from section to section, all the way up, to find out what has happened. The way you do that is you're going to be rolling 6 dice. So all you need is 6 dice. You need something to write with and something to erase with. Because I've laminated this sheet, I'm going to use a dry erase marker. And I've got nothing to wipe that with, but I'll come to that when I come to it. So the way you do this is you're going to be rolling dice for each section. A bit like Yahtzee, you're going to be rolling all 6 dice. And you're going to try and match what these say here. Now I'm going to zoom in a bit and focus on this so you can see. Okay, so we're on section 1 and we need to do what this says here. So we need to get a 4 and a 5, and the crosses mean 3 of a kind. So for example 3 6s or 3 3s or whatever. At the moment I have a 4 and I have the 2 6s. But then I have 3s. Oh, I can have 2 3s instead of 2 6s. But that's about it. But you can manipulate the dice. So I'm going to zoom back out again and show you how that is done. And that is done by these characteristics, these stats, these attributes here. So this attribute is a critical hit. And if you use it, you're allowed to turn a die 180 degrees. So basically you're going to turn it and show the bottom. So if I rolled a 4 and I used this attribute critical hit, I would turn it 180 degrees and it would become a 3. Yeah, so that is critical hit, just turning a die over from the top and showing the bottom. Then we have counter attack. This allows you to add 1 or take 1 from any die face. So from a 5, if I wanted a 4, I'd use this critical hit statistic and bring that down to a 3. Magic spell allows you to re-roll any 1 dice. So any 1 dice that can re-roll. Then we have Constitution. This allows you to roll any number of die, any number of dice, by using this Constitution. Then we have Experience. We're going to be crossing off experience as we play. If we ever get to the end of a line, we are allowed to add something to one of these, and I'm going to explain that right now. So in order to make these stats up, so you're going to be rolling these 6 dice like this, and you're going to be assigning 5 of them down here. So I might want to assign this one here, possibly this one here, maybe this one here, and this one here, and then this one here. This die, the one that you've left over, I don't know if I can squeeze that down, you're going to assign to this bit up here, and I'll explain that shortly. So I might assign die to here. So what you do then is you're going to get your pen, and I can now use this attribute 6 times, and the way you do that is you do circles. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, and every time you use it you're going to cross off a circle like so. So again, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2, 1 2 3 4, and then I'm going to cross off 1 2 3 4 5. Because I've crossed off a line, I could now add a circle to any one of these 4. So I might want to add a circle to this one. You can only have 7 circles. You can't have more than 7. So that's these die assigned. Then we have this one up here. This goes with section 5. Section 5 is a campsite. So once you've done the first 4, which are all combat, you're going to rest and then you're going to get something back. So we're going to add 1 to where this book is, because we've assigned 1 to it. So when we reach this one, section 5, we're allowed then to add 1 circle to our constitution. So we might have used all these. By the time we get to 5, we can add another circle. And then we can cross off on our experience how many circles we've put here. So when we reach here, because I've put 1 off, I can cross 1 like so. If I put more, I'll be able to cross more off. And that then briefly is how you assign your attributes. So I'm going to wipe all these away and I'm going to start playing, and it'll all become clear as we play. Very good. There we go. So we start off by rolling. I'm going to zoom out a bit. So I'm going to start by rolling all our 6 die, and the rules say if you get less than 15 you can roll again. Oh, that looks like a decent roll. So I think I will have 6 to there. 6 to there. You can always add 1 and take 1 away. Then we will have 4 to there. I'll have 5 there. Or should I have 5 there? No, I'm going to have 5 in the constitution, 4 on my experience, and 4 up here at the campsite. Yeah, and I'm going to have that. That looks good to me. So I have 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have another 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 4 for the magic spell. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for my constitution. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Experience to start with. Oh, and 4 up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we reach there, we're going to get another 4 experience. Put those off to one side. Now, there is a little story, a little intro for this, which is here. I'll read it off. And it says, "What's happened at Last Fortress? For months, the kingdom has not received news from the lookouts. The last message spoke of strange sightings from the east. But for decades, no one has been living in those territories anymore. Flames rise in the sky and illuminate the destroyed fortress. Begin your journey through the forest." Which is here. Okay, and that's all there is for the story. I thought, what are these sections? There's no story for these sections. What is this hooded figure? What are these 3 people doing here? So what I've done is I've went ahead and created a story for each section, as well as what happens if you succeed and what happens if you fail. I'm going to be uploading this to Board Game Geek shortly, if anybody's interested, but it does give you a full story, in my view, of what's happening, and gives you successes and failures. It tells you what happens there. So I'm going to read from my story. Here we go. So it says, "The quest begins." So it's just the same as in the instructions. It says, "What's happening at Last Fortress? For months, the kingdom has not received news from the lookouts. The last messages spoke of strange sightings from the east. But for decades, no one has been living in those territories anymore. The king calls upon a volunteer, and you, his faithful knight, step forward to find out why all the news has stopped, and what terrible fate could have befallen the once proud fortress." "Of course, my liege." you declare. I will endeavour to bring back news of the last fortress as soon as possible. You bow deeply and leave the king's chamber, ready to embark onwards. Having eaten a hearty meal and prepared yourself for the journey that awaits you, you set off towards Cultists Forest. Now I've named these different things. The names are not in the instructions. So Cultists Forest. Number one. Townsfolk try to evade the forest as they have heard many rumours about what infests there. But you need to make your way through, as it would take far too long to go around. The air becomes thick and heavy as you fight your way through twisted, gnarled branches and misshapen undergrowth. Strange sounds and weird shapes seem to follow you, and you're almost sure someone or something is watching. Suddenly, you hear a large commotion from the left of you. You turn to see what looks like a large wolf emerge from the undergrowth, which is what these are. Its glowing red eyes fixed upon you and fangs bared. As you draw your sword, there is a growl from behind you. Another wolf appears from behind a clump of trees and slowly creeps towards you. Looks like you're going to have to defend yourself. So roll the dice. So basically, when it says roll the dice, we do the game. So we need to roll these and get a 4, a 5 and 3 of a kind. Okay, here we go. You can only roll once, but then you can use your stats to manipulate the die. Let's see how good we are. We have a 4, we have a 5. Oh, we have 2 1s. So can we make a 1 out of this? I can re-roll a die and use my magic spell. I can re-roll as many dice as I want and use a constitution. I can add 1 and take 1 away. I was thinking maybe if I take 2 from here to make 1, but that means I've already used then 2 of these. I don't know. You can't wrap around, so you can't go from a 6 to a 1 or a 1 round to a 6 again. So I am going to I'm actually going to use a constitution to roll these 2. Let's see what we get. Bit better, because then I can use one of these, my counter attack, to change the 2 into a 1. And there we go. I have the 4, the 5 and the 3 of a kind. Success! Your sword training serves you well as you swiftly cut down one of the wolves. The other circles around and lunges forward, but you fall back and plunge your sword into the beast as it passes overhead. Both wolves lie dead. You wipe your blade and continue to make your way through the forest. Occasionally you could swear you are being followed, but manage to make it through without any further incident. Continue to 2. So once we've completed one, you put a little mark under the number, like so. So number 2, the shack, which is here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. So the shack. You emerge from the other side of the forest and spot a small shack with smoke coming out of the chimney. Maybe they have heard some news. As you approach the shack, you notice a hunched, robed figure leaning on a staff outside. "Hello there," you shout. The figure looks up and you see that is an old woman. "Good evening, my dear," the old woman says. Sorry for the old woman voice. "Good evening, my dear," the old woman says. "What brings you to these parts?" "I'm on a quest to discover the fate of the last fortress. Have you heard any news?" "News?" replies the old woman. "No news as such. Not many people pass this way and it gets very lonely. I do so yearn for company. Somebody to talk to. Somebody to eat with." As the old woman talks, she slowly rotates the top of her staff in small concentric circles. "Why don't you stay? This quest is of no concern. You need not trouble yourself over petty things." Your mind is becoming foggy as the old crone continues to rotate her staff. No, I on a quest. You are becoming confused. Something strange is definitely happening, and you try to clear your head. So we need to clear our heads from this old crone, which is here. So we need a 2, 3, 4, and then any 2 of a kind. So let's have a look. I'm going to roll these dice and see what we get. We get a 2, a 3, and then we get okay, so I could my hands are in the way there, sorry. I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see a bit more. So what can I do? I need a 4 and 2 of a kind. Okay, one thing I'm going to do, yes, I'll do that, is change this so I can flip this 180, which gives me a 6, 2 6s, and I'm going to use another counter attack to change the 5 into a 4. There we are. So 2, 3, 4 and 2 of a kind. Success. Let's see what it says. As the witch's words fill your mind, why not come inside? You feel compelled to obey, but just then a young buck runs from the trees, startling the witch. Your head momentarily clears and you realise what's going on. You are being bewitched. You flail your hand, knocking the old woman to the ground, and she scrambles for a staff. You realise that her staff is the source of her power, and you manage to grab it and snap it over your knee. No! Screams the witch as you draw your sword and place the tip on the witch's neck. Please, she sobs, I meant you no harm. You ponder for a moment, then sheathe your sword and stride off onwards towards your quest, looking back occasionally. The old woman lies on the ground sobbing. She won't trouble you anymore on your journey. So, we are moving onwards on our journey to number 3, which is continue to 3. Let's continue on. The abandoned church. As you make your way through the countryside, you come across an abandoned church. As you approach, you hear a weak cry from inside the grounds. Please help me! Don't let them get me! Sorry for all the voices. You peer over the stone wall and notice a beaten and bloody man with shackles on his wrist. Please help me! You jump over the wall and approach the man. As you reach him, the doors of the church open and 3 robed figures emerge. Step aside, stranger. That wretch belongs to us, growls one of the robed figures. Please, the beaten man pleads. Don't let them sacrifice me. Sacrifice? Cultists. Step aside, I won't ask again. You look at the beaten man, then at the cultists. You push the man behind you. Go back from where you came and I shall let you live, you say. All 3 cultists laugh, draw their daggers and advance towards you. Oh, right, okay, so we need a 3, 4, 5 and 3 of a kind. So let's see. Oh, there's the 3. Oh, look at that. Double 3 of a kind. I need a 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put those as the 3 of a kind. I shall use my constitution to roll the last 3 dice. There's a 5. There's the 3. Oh, and it looks like I'm going to use my counter attack. I'm marking them off down here. You can't see that, but I am marking them off. To change this 5 to a 4. So we have the 3, 4, 5 and 3 of a kind. So success. Let's see what we've got here. Although there are 3 of them, they are clumsy, and it doesn't take long for you to dispatch one of them. The others circle around you and attack you from both sides. You sidestep as one of them lunges at you and are dismayed to see the other man run back into the church. After a brief parry, you dispatch the other cultists, but then hear voices coming from inside the church. More cultists. You turn around to your shackled friend, but the poor wretch has succumbed to his injuries and lies motionless on the ground. You certainly don't want to face off against an unknown number of cultists, so you run in the direction of the graveyard, hoping to hide. So, we've dispatched the cultists, or some of them. We are now off to the graveyard here. And we have the old crypt. The graveyard is large and unkempt. There are many trees and the undergrowth is thick, so you can easily find a place to hide. You look on as at least half a dozen cultists emerge from the church and fan out to look for you, but you are well hidden. Eventually they retreat back into the church, and you are about to come out of your hiding place inside a large crypt when a lone cultist, this time in black robes, carrying an ornate staff, steps out of the church. You look on as he seems to be chanting some kind of incantation and drawing strange symbols in the air with his staff. After a short while he finishes, then heads back into the church, and you hear him say, "They'll take care of him now." What on earth does that mean? That soon becomes apparent as you hear rattling noises coming from deep within the crypt behind you. You turn around and see 3 skeletons advancing towards you. What devilry is this? You scramble out of the crypt and are horrified to see the churchyard filled with skeletons. The black-robed cultist must have been some sort of necromancer, you think to yourself. You must find some way to get through them and continue on your quest. Okay, so we have 6 crosses. 3 of these are different from 3 of these. This just means we need 2 lots of 3 of a kind. So 3 4s and 3 6s, or 3 2s and 3 1s. You can't have all 6s. It has to be 3 of one, 3 of another. So we roll and let's see if we can get out of this graveyard. We might be onto a winner here. We've got 2 there, 2 there. So I'm going to so I need another 2 and another 3. I am going to spend one of my magic spells to roll 1 die. See if we can get it. A 2 or a 3 being nice. I think 4. I think that's what we had. I think I am going to do a critical hit to turn this 4 into a 3. And I think so I need another 2. Let's okay, I'm going to do my magic spell. I think my pen's running out. To re-roll this, hopefully I'll get a lower number. There we go. If you get a 1, now I don't know if I've done this in these other ones. If I have, I've forgotten. But every time you roll a natural 1, you can cross 1 off your experience. So now I've got a full line, which means I can add a circle to any one of these. So I've got an extra go with one of these. However, you don't do it until the end of the turn. So I couldn't add it right now. I'd have to wait till the end of the turn if I've succeeded, and then I would add it. So then I am going to do a critic. No, I'm not. I'm going to do a counter attack. to change that 1 into a 2, like so. So 3 of one kind, 3 of another. I have defeated the skeletons, so I'm going to add my circle, my experience, to this one. I think this one's, I've used that one quite a bit. So, success, here we go. You must make a run for the other side of the graveyard to have any chance of surviving. These skeletons are slow and clumsy, and you are sure you could pick your way through at the right moment. Your sword has limited effect on the undead, but you are managing to fend them off the best you can. There! An opening appears through the myriad of bones, and you grasp your chance of escaping. You make your way to the tree line across the other side of the graveyard, kicking, swiping and barging your way past. You are surprised to see skeletons with weapons, but have no time to wonder why as you make your way through. You scale the churchyard wall and run for the woods. So we're running for these woods here. So we've done number 4. So we're up to number 5. Number 5, the campfire. You run deep into the woods, catching your breath. It's starting to get dark and you desperately need rest and food. You carry on and eventually come to a small clearing which seems ideal for you to make camp. You make a quick sweep of the clearing and deem it safe. You gather wood to make a campfire and find a spot which is surrounded by rocks on 3 sides. You get the campfire going and roll out your bedroll, ready for what you hope to be an uneventful night. The campfire gives you plenty of warmth, and you sit on a rock next to it and remove various provisions from your satchel and unhook your water skin. As you eat your salted beef, you reflect on what a long perilous journey it has been, and you ponder on your experiences. Fighting skeletons, fending off wolves, pitting wits against a witch. You wonder what tomorrow will bring as you wash your meal down with plenty of water. And it says here, increase your experience. So I'm going to increase my experience by however many I've got there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And because I've filled another line, I can have another circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't add it there because you can only have 7, but I can add it. Let's add it. Let's add it to my spells. There we go. So I've now added my experience. Reading on. You sit for a while staring into the fire, watching the flames dance and flicker, listening to the sounds of the forest. As the fire turns to embers, you settle down for the night. Your drawn sword by your side and your boot dagger held in your hand. After all that has happened today, you certainly don't want to be caught unawares. The night passes uneventfully and you wake feeling refreshed. Your aches and pains don't feel as bad and your head feels a lot clearer. And it says add 1 to your constitution, so I'm going to add 1 to my constitution, which is down here, like so. I've made it to the campsite. You pack up your things and head off in the direction of Warholm Mountain, making your way towards Glassreel Pass, which is the only way through, which is this 6. So we've done 5. We're now heading towards Glassreel Pass. You make your way to Warholm Mountain through the Drugan foothills and are surprised that no one has passed you on your journey. This seems odd as this is a well-travelled path with many a merchant and adventurer passing through, but all is quiet. It seems even the bandits have deserted. Eventually you reach Glassreel Pass, a vast split in the mountain that winds itself upwards towards the mountain peaks, and begin the steep climb. It's heavy going and the wind is whipping around you, surrounding you with cold frozen air. You hold up your shield in front of your face to protect it from the biting wind and continue on through the winding pass. You are lost in thought when something brushes against your face, startling you. You reach up and discover that you've walked into cobwebs that stretch across this narrow section of the pass. You pull the web from your face and find that the pass up ahead is covered in webbing. The only way forward is through the webs, and it's not an option to turn back. You draw your sword and hack your way through. It's tough going, and you wonder how many spiders there must be when a large shadow falls over you. Looking up, you are horrified to see a giant spider stalking you from above. Okay, so can we pass the spider? Here we go. 2, 3, 4, and then 3 of a kind. Let's see what we've got. 2, 4, 3 of a kind. I can have 2 of a kind with the 2 4s. We've got the 2. We just need a 3 and a 4. So I'm going to use my Constitution. To re-roll these dice. Wow. I need a 3 and a 4. Well, I can. What can I do with this then? 2 6s there. We have the 4 there. I'm going to spend. I'm going to use my critical hit. No, I'm going to use my counter attack. To change this 4 into a 3. It gives me the 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to use my counter attack again. I'm running out of these. To change this 5 to a 6. And then I have the 2, 3, 4, and then 3 of a kind. Oops, there we go. So we have succeeded, so success. You stumble backwards as the spider drops down in front of you, and you find yourself getting entangled inside the multitude of spider webs stretching from rock to rock. You ready your sword and bring your shield in front of you as the spider nimbly picks its way through the strands. You raise your sword ready to strike, but your sword and arm get entangled in more web. You drop your shield to retrieve the dagger from your boot, hoping to cut yourself free, but this leaves you open and vulnerable, and the spider is soon upon you. Just as the spider is about to sink its dripping fangs into you, there is an unearthly roar as an even larger shadow passes over. The spider recoils in terror, and slinks back into the I'll say that again, shall I? The spider recoils in terror and slinks back into a crevice. Into a crevice. This gives you time to cut yourself free and scramble through the webbing, well out of reach of the spider, and wondering what that terrifying creature was. Bit of a mouthful that to get out there, but we've succeeded and we continue to 7. So we've done this. Oh, come on, pen. Don't run out on me now. So we are now here. Number 7. I've only ever reached 8 once in all the playthroughs. So Yastromo's Tower. Your journey through the pass is hard going and you expect danger at every turn, but you finally make it to Yastromo Bridge that leads beyond the mountains. As you head over the bridge, you hear an almighty roar off in the distance towards the last fortress. You look but see nothing. After a little while, you see Yastromo's Tower up ahead. The tower looks blackened and the land around seems burnt. What's happened here? You think to yourself. I'm sure the wizard will have some news. You stride forward, making your way up the steps to the tower's heavy door, and you bang your fist a few times. "Who's there? What do you want?" You hear a voice from above you. You backtrack down the steps and look up and see Yastromo standing at the top of the tower, looking down at you. "I've come for news about the last fortress. We have heard nothing from them for a long time." The wizard disappears from view. "Hello?" you shout. "Yastromo? Do you have any news?" There's no reply, but a few moments later you hear heavy latches being pulled back and the door opens. "Oh, the fortress is no more," the wizard says, looking forlorn. "It has been razed to the ground." "Razed to the ground?" you ask. I'm not going to do the voices anymore. "Razed to the ground," you ask. "A red dragon," replies Yastromo. "Red dragon?" you splutter in surprise. "He came a few months ago from the east and took the fortress by surprise. They tried to defend themselves, but they were unprepared from an attack from above and perished quickly. I was away on business only to come back to ruins," Yastromo says through gritted teeth. "Right, that's why your tower is blackened," you say. "Yes, and if I was here, perhaps I could have done something," he says angrily. You ponder for a moment. "Maybe we can," you state. Okay, so I think we need to try and get Yastromo on our side. So 4, 5, 6 and 3 of a kind. There we go. 4, 5, 6, 3 of a kind. Ooh, look at that. 3 ones, which means 3 ones, which means 1, 2, 3. But I cannot add the circle until the end of this encounter. There's our 3 of a kind. 4 and the 6. Ooh, I'm doing well. And you just need to make that a 5. Let's use a magic spell to re-roll, and let's see if we get a 5, and we get a 4. So I am going to use yeah, I'm going to use my last counter attack, so I can't use that anymore, to change this 4 to a 5. So we have the 4, 5, 6 and the 3 of a kind. Success. I can add another circle because of my experience. I can't add one here because that's full, so let's add one to this here. There we go. So let's see if we've convinced Yastromo. Success. You try to persuade Yastromo that together you can defeat the dragon. The combination of Yastromo's magic and your combat skill, you are sure you can come up with some sort of plan to take it down. "Can you stop it from flying?" you ask. A searching look comes over Yastromo's wizened face for a few moments. "I think I can hold him to the ground, but only for a short while. My powers are fading as I grow older." "A short while is all I need," you reply as a smile spreads upon your lips. You explain your plan and the wizard listens on with interest. "An interesting plan, but we need to be quick and pray to the gods that it will work." Yastromo gathers some things and you both head off towards the last fortress, hoping and praying that what you are about to do is neither foolish nor life-ending. Continue to 8. Okay, so we're at the fortress. Here we go. The last fortress. All this. The last fortress. As you get closer to the fortress, you notice wisps of black smoke coming from various places. "Why did the dragon attack the fortress?" you ask as you walk. "I'm not sure," replies Yastromo. "I was away on business in the city of Midmire. When I returned, the fortress was decimated." You approach the last fortress with caution. Yastromo grabs your arm. I know a side entrance, just in case. You follow the side of the fortress and come to a small wooden door partly hidden amongst the bushes. Yastromo places his hand upon it, mumbles something incoherently, and the door opens. You enter the fortress and wander around from building to building and are horrified to see long charred bodies scattered on the ground. Why? Says Yastromo. Why did this happen? Why did this happen? You shake your head and are about to speak when a large shadow looms over you both. Your instinct kicks in and you push the wizard into an adjacent building while you dive into another just as a large gout of flame covers where you've both been standing. Do it now! You scream as the wall of flame subsides. Yastromo steps out and casts the required spell. The dragon squirms as though caught in something and is forced to the ground. Yastromo concentrates on keeping the dragon grounded while you run into the building nearest to the dragon, hoping to get above it. Suddenly, from another part of the fortress, a fork of lightning arcs all around Yastromo. I knew you would leave yourself vulnerable, says an unknown voice. Still concentrating on holding the dragon and maintaining his defense shield, Yastromo turns around to face the voice. Zavran! Yastromo gasps in surprise. Zavran gestures to the dragon, who takes a deep breath and belches forth more flames, which completely surrounds Yastromo. Yastromo struggles to keep the dragon grounded and the shield in place. A smile spreads across Zavran's lips. I respected you, old man, and you cast me aside. I was exiled from the fortress because of you. No, you brought it upon yourself. You wanted things I could not teach you. You were meddling in things that were beyond your comprehension, Yastromo says. I wanted more, screams Zavran. I was the best pupil you ever had, and you denied me my calling. Exiled because of you. I had to, Yastromo replies through gritted teeth, as the strain of holding multiple spells is beginning to take its toll. You were dabbling in dark powers, things I could not teach. Things you wouldn't teach, retorts Zavran. You were like a son to me, Zavran. Why? Why did you do this? Yastromo says, looking at all the destruction. Zavran relaxes slightly and looks around. Do you like it? Did you think I could do it? But why? Why the fortress? If it was me you wanted, then why not come for me? Yastromo asks quizzically. Because I could, Zavran replies in anger, and gestures towards the dragon, which belches another wall of flame, which Yastromo struggles even more to keep away. If I'd known you weren't here, I would have waited. Imagine my disappointment to discover you were away on business. You are weak, old man, and I have grown stronger. Let me show you. Wow, so it looks like it was an old pupil of Yastromo's who wanted to follow the dark arts. While we're here, I'm going to cross that off. So let's see what happens. We need 6 of a kind. There we go. Wow, what do we have? We have 2 5s. So I am going to use a constitution to re-roll all these dice again. Got another 5. Let's have a look. I am going to use a critical hit. Pen's running out. To change this to 180 degrees to a 5. So I've got 3 of them. Sorry, I've got 4 of them. I am... What can I do here? Let's use a magic spell to re-roll a die. We get a 3. Oh. Okay, let's use a constitution. We're going to use everything up here to re-roll both of these. Come on, I want a 5. Let's... Okay, let us use one more magic spell. Away, Yastromo. To roll one of these. So that was a 3. Get a 5. Oh! We've only got a critical hit and our constitution left. We can't use a critical hit because that's like a 180. So a 3 and a 4, 3 and a 4. So I'm going to use my last constitution to roll both of these. I got 2 1s, however we're at our full experience level. Oh wait, no, we can't do that. Well, I think we've been defeated. We've used everything apart from the 180 flip, and we're wanting 5s, so I couldn't use the critical hit because otherwise if I do it'll just be 6s. I've used everything else. Oh dearie me, I got right to the end there, and we've been defeated. There we go. We've been defeated. Okay, so we have to go onto our failure. Zavran again gestures at the dragon, and another onslaught of flame surrounds Yastromo. At the same time, Zavran fires a lightning bolt, and the wizard drops to one knee as he struggles to maintain his magic. "I looked up to you," says Zavran. "I wanted to be the best pupil, the brightest, better than all the others." Zavran lets loose another lightning bolt. "But no, you took that all away from me. Said I wasn't right. Just because I didn't conform to your ideals of magic, you cast me out, cast me aside like a used bar cloth. I couldn't take you down the path you wanted to go." Yastromo gasps, getting even weaker. Zavran strides closer to Yastromo, gestures to the dragon, and fires another bolt straight at Yastromo. "No, I've took my own path, which I have you to thank. I found someone who would teach me, who would lead me down the forbidden path. Someone far powerful than you, old man. Someone who understands real magic." Yastromo's magic is failing him. His hold on the dragon ceases and it flies into the air in a rage. You emerge from the building hoping to strike the sorcerer unawares, but the dragon spots you immediately and Zavran looks at you. A huge ball of flame comes straight at you. Expecting death, you are surprised that the flame rolls all around you. It takes you a second to realise Yastromo is now protecting you instead of him. Zavran rounds back on the unprotected wizard and sends another searing bolt of lightning which strikes the wizard. "Weak," chuckles Zavran as the wizard's lifeless body collapses to the floor. Your fate is sealed. Between Zavran and the dragon, you won't be returning with any news about the last fortress. Your adventure ends here. Oh, I only needed 2 more 5s and I would have been able to defeat Zavran. But it was not to be. And that is Lantern by Mr. Maggio. A great little game. Dead simple to do. Just like a Yahtzee game. And with this I thought it'd be more entertaining to have a little story that goes with it. But there you go, guys. I hope I've done everything correctly. I'm sure you guys will point out the mistakes, and I'll try and put them in the notes below. But until next time then, I will catch you guys later.